What profession was highly respected once but now is a complete joke? President of the United States. Carrot, 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 hey, carrot, 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 guys, carrot, 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 I carrot, 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 was carrot, 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 just carrot, 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 being carrot, 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 sarcastic. Closing square bracket. Typist be able to type 60 words a minute was an extremely lucrative skill that alone one would be able to get a job with. Today, words per minute isn't a metric applicable to most jobs, except for specialized typing positions or data entry positions, court recorders and such. Instead, 60 words a minute typing is pretty much standard these days. Ability to use a keyboard isn't even a job skill worth mentioning anymore. But inability will DQ you. I pretty much built my early career on my ability to type 60 WP monsieur. It saved my butt in the army and got me so many jobs without any other experience or skill sets. Best HS elective I ever took. Milkman. Seemed like they were always getting laid. Bankers. You mean grocery store cashier with a different computer in front of them? They don't bank anymore. Bank tellers in particular are now just customer service like any other. The middle, back office roles are more respected than ever. As automation improves and there's less copy plus pasting spreadsheets, other tedious reporting. Front office IB are still internationally hated, but some of that is just jealousy. How much? Depends on who you ask. Middle, back office roles are still seen as lower tier since you can usually fill the same role for more money at a tech company. It is the investment banking teams that bring in the cash, and their reputation varies dramatically depending on the bank. Wealth management is more respected than customer service and many back office roles, but you are still jack shit for the first few years until you build a client base. Ryan told me to always tell a woman you work in finance. Talking to a woman, I'm a bank teller. Journalist monsieur. I wanted to be a journalist when I was a kid. Delighted that I dodged that particular bullet. If you are from one of some certain countries, you probably dodged a few real bullets too. Secretaries. Interesting stuff. My mom actually wrote her dissertation on how the job evolved. It used to be really difficult, and a great way for women to enter the workplace in a time when that was still less conventional. Typing and taking notes efficiently was a huge skill back then, and so was record keeping. For an almost exclusively female job, it was pretty well respected. Now being a secretary is the punchline to a joke about your dad's infidelity. They're called executive assistants, or executive administrators now, and I wouldn't say they were ever respected. It's a pretty good job though, with a lot of possibility for powerful connections. Executive assistants are extremely powerful. I go out of my way to be nice to my CEO's executive assistant because she basically controls his schedule. Airline pilots, even though they aren't necessarily a joke, they aren't nearly as respected as they were in the past. The joke with the A380 is it comes with a pilot and a dog. A pilot to take care of the dog and the dog to bark at the pilot if they try to touch anything. Police officers. They don't put "to protect and serve" on their cars anymore. And while most officers are still decent, there's enough bad apples out there that are rarely held accountable, and not enough inside the departments to speak out that all of them are starting to get a bad reputation. There was also that guy that was shot in his backyard for having a phone, and the guy who was shot for putting his gun he had legally on the ground. Also in Mesa, the kid who was almost completely naked, with his hands up, and a full tactical team with ours pointed at him. One of them had "you're fucked" written on the sign after several minutes of them giving confusing commands, him crying and begging them to not shoot him. They murdered "Hi monsieur." That cop has received his full pension, was found not guilty, now has retired on the tax dollars of his victims. Shamans, seers and fortune tellers. Might as well lump priests into that group. Knights, samurai, immortals, winged hussars. Politicians in general. It used to be teaching, but I'll bet this lockdown changes a few perspectives. My wife is a high school teacher. She just had to do phone parent-teacher conferences, and more than one parent told her how much more they appreciate what they do every day. Teachers haven't been respected in a very long time. If lockdown changes anything, parents will respect them again for realizing how much they have to put up with their shitty kids, so they don't have to. Manager at most if not all retail stores. It was seen as an achievement to be even a store manager because it meant you were extremely dependable, responsible, and it also usually meant you had at least a modicum of intelligence above an average person. Now if you are over 30 and a manager, even a general manager, you're usually seen as unsuccessful. You make money. Who gives a shit if you're successful? Pension 401k. Managers. They exist to steal your money. They make it nearly impossible to have a non-managed account because they can't rip off a percentage of your savings, even though managed accounts do no better than non-managed accounts but are far and away more expensive to the account holder. Real estate agents. They exist to take your hard-earned equity that you worked hard for, paid taxes on the property, paid the bank interest, and then some suburban housewife with few actual skills has her hand out for her 1.5 to 3% for doing very little you can't do for yourself. I'm sort of shocked that no one has disrupted this market with an app yet. Put all the sales data online with photos and videos. If the homeowner is living in the house, schedule a viewing for pre-qualified buyers with the app. Unoccupied properties would use an electronic lock to allow remote access. Sure, this would be done for less than what agents are currently charging and still make a huge profit for the app. Check out Zillow. I've sold 2 houses using this site and it was easy and free. I feel like there isn't a lot of pride in being working class anymore. Miners, factory workers. There's not a lot left of the "we're the proletariat and we get shit done" attitude. Mostly just "we're poor and exploited and shit sucks." Which is true. I wouldn't say middle and upper class people ever respected us, but working class people seemed to once have pride in ourselves. At least this is true of my region. Wealthy blue state. And according to my personal history, family of working class Eastern European Americans. I work construction and this is likewise accurate in my poor, red state. Still some personal pride in working skilled trades, but there's generally a feeling of economic hopelessness. It's not just employees either. Even my boss, electrician, says that it's hard to make good money as an independent subcontractor. We stay busy but the overhead is a lot. Seems like the culture surrounding blue-collar labor is in a sad state in general. I live in the Appalachians and the way people talk, it seems like the town I live in has deteriorated drastically over the past couple decades. I'm not from the mountains originally. People seem cagey and stressed. Way higher death rate than births and young people tend to leave. I'm not sure why the market price of building trades hasn't increased more since the skills are becoming more in demand. Regional manager, especially in paper distribution. As long as they have a good assistant to the travel agent, they are still around, but mostly for business trips. It is easy enough to book your own flight and hotel, but once you need to book 80 people on 30 flights, with hotels and entertainment for a conference, it is better to consult a pro. Classical music pianists. Maybe not a complete joke, but certainly nowhere near as high up the ladder as they used to be. They very much are still as respected as they were before, just not amongst the decadent Western masses. Fast food, diner service. Once the 50s just went. It's been commonplace to disrespect, insult and devalue people working in fast food. They could one day just stop giving you shit. You know, stargazing. I mean, sure, astrophysicists are very respected, but they don't just look at the stars. I am talking about like just the stargazers. Back in ancient Greece, Even if you had no knowledge about science or philosophy, just looking at the night sky and discovering a new constellation would be a big deal. Not only did you discover a new mythical entity for the philosophers to ponder over, you created a new character which would remain a part of human history forever and appear in various fantasy video games years after. Today, if you spend your time looking at the sky trying to find a camel or a kangaroo among the stars, people would call you an idiot. Nigerian prince. Professional models. When was that a respect profession? They always seem to be just expensive meat-based hangers. Comedian, carrot, I'll see myself out. Snake oil salesman. It doesn't help when the product isn't even made from real snakes anymore. Vegan snake oil has a huge market though, for when you want an animal-safe fake product. Priests, ministers, teachers. Once they were respected like doctors and lawyers. Today they're the underpaid class that no one takes seriously. Not a complete joke, but sad nonetheless. Greater than once they were respected like doctors and lawyers. Nobody respects lawyers. Management positions in tech companies, particularly startups. Retail pharmacists. You put pills in the bottle, my doctor knows everything. The problem with retail pharmacy is the retailer they work for. Now all of the metrics they are judged on is customer satisfaction. At the same time they cut staffing trying to make more money. This means they have less time to be concerned with taking care of patients, period. And instead of focusing on quality of care, it's all about making sure the customer is satisfied and coming back to CVS or wherever to buy more of the front of store bullshit, where the store really makes money. The big corporate retail chains squeeze the life out of independently owned neighborhood pharmacies where the pharmacist was providing healthcare. I grew up working in an independent and it was fantastic, but I saw the writing on the wall when I was in school. So I specialized and went into clinical pharmacy. You aren't wrong. Retail pharmacists don't have as much respect as they used to, and it's a shame. They could be a valuable member of the healthcare team, sure, but there's no time for that. I'm happier in the hospital for sure, but damn, I wish I made that retail pharmacy money. Computer programmer. Used to be a job for highly paid, highly respected specialists. It was basically an R&D job where you could pick and choose your projects. And it paid well enough that you could retire by 40 if you wanted to. Now, software engineers have to interview for their jobs every morning. A stand-up meeting in which the bosses sit and do this humiliating, infantilizing nonsense called agile scrotum. Before COVID, they worked in open plan offices. We'll see if that trend continues after this is over. If there's an economy left, it's still hard to do well, and it requires serious intellectual metal to get good at it. But the success of this agile garbage proves that those in charge don't care about it being done well. I don't see how agile approached projects qualifies as computer programmers not being respected. I'm on the infrastructure side, network engineer, and we typically have a lot of respect for programmers, greater than they worked in open plan offices. I only had one real corporate job my career. I still remember those few months. Arm reach from two people with constant foot traffic behind me. Not allowed to wear headphones. Buying my own coffee. No VMs. No root access. Not able to install any software. 8 hours a day using some C# nonsense framework to solve tiny corporate business software issues. Incompetent manager watching my bathroom breaks. Melting in slacks all day. Working with people who have zero fear that someone is going to punch them for being in a hole. I took a job designing chemical factory stuff. Before COVID, I spent nearly all my time in my office or at a muddy construction site or a factory floor. Dirty, filthy hot, working with high voltage and explosive chemicals. Fuck corporate. You got the absolute worst kind of corporate employment. It ticks just about every checkbox in the what can be wrong with an office list. Greater than now. Software engineers have to interview for their jobs every morning. Wait, what? Do you mean literally every morning that they have a shift for? Or is this just an exaggeration or a single company's way of doing things? This is a bit of an exaggeration, but a daily stand-up, originally intended as a quick status update within the programming team, starts to feel scary. A manager, a project manager, and a few others are present, and every delay feels like a sign you'll get fired that afternoon. I'm a software engineer and I have no idea what you're talking about. Stand-up has never been stressful to me, and I never felt like it affected my job security. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.